Welcome to People in Profit. This week we're talking about the challenges and opportunities for entrepreneurs in Africa. Back in May, French President Emmanuel Macron brought political leaders from across the continent to Paris to discuss the financial challenges facing their countries. Now he's turning to the private sector, with hundreds of entrepreneurs from across Africa among those attending a special summit in Montpellier. The goal is to help support African businesses in their development. Well, let's talk to two people taking part in this event. I'm joined in studio by Hafou Tare Samb, who's the founder and CEO of HTS Partners, a financial advisory firm that works with small and medium enterprises. You're based in Ivory Coast. Also with us is Fatma Madani, who's co-founder of Soul and Planet, an online marketplace for healthy and environmentally friendly goods based in Tunisia. Thank you to you both for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Fatma, can you start off by telling us about the development of your business? What's it's been like growing that business in Tunisia?
Well, actually, now the opportunities in Tunisia are really nice. The stars are really aligned now in Tunisia. We have an amazing ecosystem that supports us with financing us, with giving us the opportunity to follow some programs like incubators, accelerators. I did an incubator, and that was life-changing for us. For example, I met my co-founder, Maji Ashur, who is now the CTO of the company. And thanks to that, also, my dad joined the company as a co-founder also, and now he's the CFO of the company. So we launched actually during the pandemic. And that was just amazing because the pandemic was an opportunity for us to grow. Why? Because people are changing their behavior. Now in Tunisia, people order online. Before that, they were not really used to do that. So for us, we saw a window and we just went straight forward it and yeah.
I've gotten this, and you see you're part of a thriving ecosystem in Tunisia. Hafou, you work with companies across West Africa, helping them develop. Talk to us about what the environment is like there now at the moment. What potential are you seeing?
Yeah, so exactly like she said, there's definitely been growth in certain sector. Obviously, the pandemic hasn't been great for small businesses, but we can see change in behavior, like she mentioned. So we have seen that there's different sectors where we've seen growth. So financial service, healthcare, communication, tourism is starting to move back, where people are looking to visit different African countries. So what that means for our small and medium enterprise that we work with is that they really have to reinvent the type of service that they provide. They need to be more nimble. A lot of our solutions are around innovation, diversification of their sources of revenue, even of services, and always including a digital component, because in Africa, everyone's cell phone penetration is incredibly high, and more, even outside of cities, people have access to the internet. So how do you include that digital component into your service is also an important part. And we focus particularly on women because that's a big agenda for us, and access to capital is important. So how do we make sure that women have access to capital, that they're not left on the margin of this financial revolution that is happening? Is also important.
Finance is often one of the big challenges facing developing companies. I'm sure you've experienced this as well. When it comes to, the businesses that you work with, how easy is it for businesses starting in West Africa to access finance?
Yeah. And, having worked in the US for 12 years and seeing so many investors that actually wanted to invest in Africa, for me, I was like, okay, what we need is actually a fund. So that was my initial goal when moving back to Côte d'Ivoire. But then I realized that the biggest issue is actually pipeline. We have a number of companies, but they're not ready to access financing, either because of different bankability metrics, or they don't even meet some of the basic eligibility criteria. So that's why we set up this advisory firm to kind of be the intermediary that will help bridge the gap in financing. And how do we plan to do that is really helping them with investment readiness services, transaction services. And transaction services are costly, right? We need to help them with their financial statement, their strategy, and all of that. So how do we want to do that? We want to work with development institution, AFTB, GIZ, like even AFT and Proparco, to help us really incubate some of these firms that aren't necessarily always ready, because professional service aren't usually your typical first thing that entrepreneurs will do, right? So that is one of the biggest issue. And particularly for women, we've seen that there was a World Bank study that showed that more than in 10 countries, males have 6 times more access to capital than women. Why is that so? So when we focus particularly on them, we're like, we are here for you. Come to us and we'll help you access capital. So, yeah.
Fatma, what's been your experience in this area? Has accessing to finance been an issue in your development?
Actually, no. we had some equity-free finances from the incubator Afkar and another accelerator called Green for Youth. It's a green program for startups by Impact Partner and Flat Six Labs. And lately, we were able to have a business angel who invested in us, and this is just amazing. So in equity, of course, and we are already getting ready for a new round of fundraising with other investors, the private sector, etc. You have to know that after the revolution, the government is really now ready and to do some partnership with the private sector, with the how to call it, the civil society, etc., and which led to the creation of a legislation called Startup Act, which gave us label. The startup label, and this label give us so many advantages for us as entrepreneur and also for investors. So investors can invest in us, and so this is an amazing opportunity, and it really help us get these investors because they know they can have their money back. They are like supported by the government, and this is really important.
Because Tunisia is in the World Bank's rankings of doing business. Tunisia is 78th in the world as a place to do business. Is that something that you see as changing with those new rules?
Of course, it's changing. Everything is changing right now. The government is really aware that it has to change, and things are actually changing. So now is the opportunity for investors to come because now things are totally changing. Yeah.
How much of an appetite do you see for entrepreneurship because you're working across a couple of different countries? Is that something that's evolving?
Yes, for sure. I think more and more, and this is a concept that has more and more evolved with the pandemic, like youth, they have a side hustle. So like entrepreneurs, there's always a new initiative. And I think it comes from, there's a lot of different problems or issues the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs in Africa, or even older ones, they just want to find solutions. So when they see an issue or a problem, they come up with a solution and they start an enterprise, they start a business. And the easier we put in place the regulation to do that, for example, in Côte d'Ivoire, we have now the guichet unique, we have a status for entrepreneurs. So if you're like a single entrepreneur, you can actually get the status for free, which just works. You can even use it to get loans at the bank so that you're not in the informal sector, you're structured enterprise and you're just launching. So the easier we make it to start these businesses, the better for the governments because it's already happening. Like entrepreneurs are literally everywhere. Everyone now is an entrepreneur. They're starting businesses like every other day.
And we see that in the statistics as well. We know that entrepreneurship is extremely high in Africa too. And it's something that's female dominated. There are more female entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
Good question. I think that now it's becoming like normal to be an entrepreneur. It's a way of life more than just a job.
Afu, I'm sure you have an opinion on this as well.
I think the women have always been big entrepreneurs in Africa because we have to realize that they're a key pillar of the family and the community. So there's a big entrepreneurship for subsistence. Like just to survive, women have had to usually, and we don't think of women selling in a market as entrepreneurs, but they are, right? They're selling goods that people need. So all of these women were already used to doing that. But now we have a new wave of entrepreneurs that are more structured, that are on social media. They're using Facebook to sell their product. They're using social media to do that. So there's this wave of like new young women entrepreneurs, but women have always had that in their DNA and it's just being more and more accessible to the public. Yeah.
If I can add something, is that women are able to empathize with their customers, and this is really great when you are a leader. So with your customers, but also with your team. Managing a team is really being a mom in the company. So I think women are really good leaders, and that we had a new chief of the government, the first Arab female chief, and this is really good news for us. And we can't wait to see what she's going to do. And I think things are really going to change in the good way.
Yeah.
You both also lived abroad, which is another part of your experience too. Have you lived in Italy before? What made you decide to set up your business in Tunisia rather than elsewhere?
Well, everything in Tunisia is left to be done. Like the market is huge. in Tunisia, in Africa, in the Middle East, there are so many things to do. Especially, you have to know that in Tunisia, Africa, and the Middle East, people are more conscious about their health, about the environment. They want to take care about their health and their environment. And our mission with Soul and Planet is to help them reach that goal. In Europe, in America, they're already doing this job. So now we are helping Africa and the Middle East.
And there's an appetite for it. Hafu, what does taking part in events like this one in Montpellier, what's the value in it for you as an entrepreneur being there?
Yeah, no, it's so important to start having more youth represented in this type of setting, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of these summits, we have some announcement at the end, but we want some concrete action. What does that mean for us? How do we use that to help our entrepreneurs or to launch new businesses, or how will that impact our activities? So it's really important that we start thinking about how can we get involved with these, and it's a great networking opportunities. You get to meet amazing people, and the more we start to also get involved with, you know, the administration, the politics, just understanding what are the drivers of some of these summits, because they always trickle down, right? When the presidents and all of these high level people come and speak, what will that mean for us? So it will impact our business regardless. So it's important to be aware.
And Fatma, is the connection to France important as well here?
Of course, the connection to France, but also to Africa, because here we have the opportunity to meet so many and amazing leaders from all over Africa. So the networking is really amazing. Like, I'm going back home with many, many new contacts, and I can do some partnership with them, and this is just great.
Okay, Fatma Madani from Soul and Planet, thank you very much for speaking to us. And Hafu Taresam from HTS, thank you so much for speaking to us. Please do get in touch with your comments or questions on these topics. You'll find us on Facebook and on Twitter. And you'll find all of our previous shows on the France 24 website as well. Until next time, thanks for watching.
With all the main European news, debates between representatives of the best and worst performing EU member states, and exclusive interviews with major personalities.
Talking Europe, presented by Catherine Nicholson on France 24 and France24.com.